Now, you don't need Unit 7 to really figure this stuff out because, well, you see how the table's labeled for us. This is labeled for us. This is a two-way table. All right, so you have two different categories being represented here. First off, I'd say look at the top row. That's male or female. So we're looking at gender there at the top. And then on the left here, you're looking at eating breakfast. Either does or doesn't eat breakfast, okay? So if you look at each box individually, it'll tell you something about the information that's being communicated, at least from whatever survey is given here, right? If you looked at this box right here, that would be the number of males that eat breakfast regularly. See how it's males from the column and eat breakfast regularly from the row. That's two ways, column, row. You could say row and column, it doesn't matter. Like this one right here, this box, would represent people that do not eat breakfast regularly that are female. See that? So you can make the connection two different ways, two-way tables. Use the given information to complete the two-way table about the eating habits of 595 students at Copper Ridge Middle School, wherever the crap that is. But that's information right there. The 595 students at Copper Ridge Middle School, that's the eating habits of these 595. So that's a total amount. So you would analyze the table, you'd say, well, it's not talking specifically about total males or females. It's not talking about total number that eat breakfast or don't eat breakfast. It's the total number of the total right there. So that's the 595 in the bottom right corner there, 595. And again, see how the two-way shows it's the total of the total? That's because that's all the number of students that were surveyed here. Didn't give any other information other than that was the number of students surveyed. On the next one, it says 190 male students eat breakfast regularly out of 320 total males surveyed. So first off, it says 190 male students eat breakfast regularly. So I'm looking for male students. So that's this column first of all. And it says eat breakfast regularly. So there it is. That's the first one we pointed out anyways. That's 190 male students that eat breakfast regularly. But there's another piece of information in this line. It says 320 total males surveyed. So I go to males. I want total number of males on this one. And we get 320 total males surveyed. Now just think about this too. Before we look at the other 2 points that give us information, you should be able to figure out how many females were surveyed as well, just from this information. That should be pretty obvious on how you would get that value. We're going to find it later, but I want to go through the other points first. Next up, it says 295 students do not eat breakfast regularly. It did not point out the gender, just said students on this one. So that's do not eat breakfast regularly. We're in this row, and that'd be the total number of students there. So that's 295 there. And then the next one, 165 females do not eat breakfast regularly. So that's females. So that's this column. Do not eat breakfast regularly. That's this row. So they see how they kind of meet in this box right here. I guess it's the one we pointed out. That's 165. That's plenty of information to finish the table, even though they did not give us any more information. So I'm just gonna start at the top and work my way left to right. So I got 190 males that eat breakfast regularly, but I want to know how many females eat breakfast regularly. Now I don't have enough information to figure that out yet, but I know information that I can figure out to get that value, and I can either figure out the total number of students that eat breakfast regularly, or I can figure out the total number of females that were surveyed here. Okay, so I'm looking for either this value or this value. So I'm going to go to this one because I said I'm working from the top left to right. Do you have to do this one? No, of course. The order of the boxes that you do this in is completely up to you, but it should be the same no matter if we look at it by the column or the row. So how will I figure out? I'm going to go to the total here, right? So I'd say, well, how do I figure that out? Well, just take 595, the total number of students surveyed. And this is the row, that's number of students that eat breakfast regularly. So I'm going to subtract the number of students that do not eat breakfast regularly. That's the 295. And I get a result of 300. Right there. Okay. Now that I've got the 300 students that do not eat breakfast regularly, I can figure out the number of females that eat breakfast regularly. I think I said do not, but I said eat. I meant eat breakfast regularly. So there's 300 students that eat breakfast regularly. 190 of them are male. Since I'm looking for a number that is female that eat breakfast regularly, I'm going to subtract the males from that value 300, and it looks like that would be 110 right there. All right, so that completes completely the first row. Now I'll go to the second row, and I'm looking now at males that do not eat breakfast regularly, and I'm going to use these two values to figure that out. So there's 320 males surveyed, 190 eat breakfast regularly, so the rest would not eat breakfast regularly. So I'm just going to subtract that value, and when we subtract that, we get, let's see, 220, and then 130, 130 right there. Now I got the 130 because I used the column on this, okay? You could have used the row. You could have said, well, 295 minus 165, boom, 130. And that would have given you the same value. And it needs to give you the same value because it needs to work both ways. Two ways. Two-way table. There you go. Now on this last one for females, the total number of females surveyed, you could use the row on this with the 320 and 595. But for me, addition's easier. I'm just going to take the 110 and the 165 number of females that either eat breakfast or don't eat breakfast, respectively. And I'm going to add those values together, which ends up being 275 females surveyed. Now I should check, the last thing I should check is well, does 320 plus 275 equal 595? Yeah, it does. So there you go. And that completes this table, this two-way table. And we pretend like we had fun.